All right, good evening. Welcome to WCBN Sports. My name is Nick Hornberg. Joining me here, Kayla Bair and Maddy Abbott from the Michigan Volleyball team following tonight's game against Wisconsin. Kayla, Maddy, thanks for coming. I'd imagine it isn't easy coming up and talking to me after a loss as tough as this.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
I suppose one thing, this is now the third consecutive week where you've had to go 5 sets against a team, Ohio State and then Illinois, and now Wisconsin. Do you feel it, I suppose, in contrast to earlier in the season where you were just racking up sweeps?
I think that in the Big Ten, every team is so good that once you kind of get into the thick of it, you kind of expect 5 sets. I think in preseason, it's a little easier to assume that you're going to get some wins over non-ranked opponents, but pretty much every night we're going in and playing a really good team, a top 10 team, and so I think it's to be expected. It's definitely hard on bodies a little bit, but we thrive in 5th sets, and obviously it's something to be looked forward to, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, as we start getting into some of the tougher teams of the Big Ten and like the top teams, I think that obviously shows something about our team in general, how like we're not just going to roll over and like take an easy L, like we're going to fight as hard as we can, like to the 5th set for every single point, no matter what team we're playing.
And I was actually mistaken. This is the 4th consecutive week that you've had to go 5 because of Indiana the week prior to Ohio State. Kayla, you've had to step into a position that perhaps was unexpected. Really, in the last month or so, Corey has been out with an injury. You've had to step in. How much of a transition is that from your role at previously was fairly deep into the bench, and now you're starting at middle blocker?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a change. I definitely have big shoes to fill, but I just try and go out there and provide as best as I can for the team and do as best as I can with the role I'm given. All
right. And Maddy, you've largely been used this season, particularly as a serve specialist. I believe you've played every set, pretty much entirely in a serving capacity. What is it about your serve that makes it, I would argue, the most reliable on the team if we're talking about deliveries to errors ratio?
I've always just loved to serve. Like, it's my favorite part of volleyball, so I think that it's something that I can go back and trust my serve. And I don't know, I've never had to pass my serve, which is kind of like a funny concept, so I can't really like describe it that well, but usually if I can get on it pretty quick, it can go pretty deep and have a little bit of movement, so just try to do that.
And, I mentioned Corey's injury, but Corey's not the only one. Sydney has not played in 2 weeks now. Do these injuries to these players, how heavily does that affect the team in preparation and in the way you plan for games?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough loss losing any injured player, but I think that any player on our team that steps up into the role that they need to fill does a great job, and I don't think we skip a beat, when another player has to come in off the bench.
All right, and the third set tonight, that we got excited towards the end of that third set. You had the 21-18 lead, and ultimately it ended the way it did. And you bounced back incredibly well in the 4th. The exact opposite happened. How do you bounce back from what was, from our view, an incredibly heartbreaking third set?
I think just playing together and trusting in our team. We always say that, play together, win together, and we have such a family culture at Michigan, and I think we just rely on each other and trust each other.
All right. And Maddy, this perhaps would better be more appropriate to ask if you weren't a senior, but you're originally from California. Do you detest or do you love the late October weather here?
I love it. I think it's the best part of the entire year. I think that fall is like the most special season of all, and we definitely don't get that in California. So the winter might be a different story, but I love the fall.
And Kayla, when we look at middle blockers from up here, we see a clear difference in playing style between Corey and Kiara. We see Kiara as the more mobile, Crocker as the more stationary and more individually powerful. We've seen you really play in both roles. We've seen you slide out to the side, and we've also seen you stay in the middle trying to make blocks in your as you've played more in the last few weeks. I don't mean to typecast you, but which role would you describe yourself as a middle blocker?
I would say definitely more on like Kiara's side, you know, like I think I play more like Kiara than I do Corey. Corey's definitely a lot more powerful. She's a lot bigger. She takes up like more space, but I think I can move well like Kiara does, and you know, I can get up and get blocks and get kills at the same time.
And whoever made the schedule must hate you or something. Tonight against top 10 Wisconsin, tomorrow night top 5 ranked Minnesota. How do you regroup after tonight and get refocused after you fought as hard as you did to play probably an equally challenging game tomorrow night against the Gophers?
I think that this is what we all signed up for. We came to Michigan knowing that this was going to be a challenge and that every night we're going to get pushed, and that's exactly what we're going to get. And I think that we all love that about where we go to school.
Yeah, I mean, like, this game's over. It's done with. I think none of us can dwell on what happened tonight. I think we have to go home tonight, get in the right mindset, and get prepared to play another tough match against Minnesota.
All right, and last question before I let you go. We've asked every player we've interviewed so far the same question. Tonight we're in Chrysler Arena. What's the difference between Chrysler and your regular home Cliff Keen Arena?
I mean, Cliff Keen is home. It's a little cozy in there. It can be really hot or really cold. You never know what you're going to get, but playing in Chrysler is pretty special. I feel like it's just really incredible to look around and see how many people come out to support Michigan volleyball, and I think there's like a sense of history almost in this place that you feel like you're among Michigan greats and really cool things that have happened in Michigan. So I always love playing at Chrysler.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a totally different atmosphere. Like Maddy said, like Keen is home. Like, it's comfortable playing in there, but it's also like amazing playing here in Chrysler. Like, you feel like you're on a stage, and it's just like amazing having all the people like watching you, and like the atmosphere is just completely different.
Did they warn you guys that I was going to ask you that? Because you've all answered it exactly the same way.
No, I think we just all feel the same way.
Yeah. All right, and we're out of time here. Thank you very much to Maddy Abbott and Kayla Bair. Maddy, Kayla, thank you very much for talking to us. Good luck tomorrow night against Minnesota. Thank you very much to Katie Hewitt for allowing them to speak to us. Thank you very much to the other people at WCBN here, Adam, Rich, and Austin Falco, for also making this possible. And that will be all for this evening at Chrysler Arena. Once again, Kayla, Maddy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.